tell us about how did the Design Education Trust start?
It started in 2015, which is 10 years ago, almost today. And the founder was called John Cox, who's no longer with us. He invited his accountant, Robert Rouse, to join him, and myself, Alec Robertson, because I had experience in design education. The aim was really to support young potential graduates of design or students of design.
So what is the focus of the Design Education Trust?
Originally, the charity decided to support fees of students, tuition fees, and we managed to support 2 or 3 students each year. Then we moved on to supporting project expenses because we found we could use the money more effectively because projects are very expensive in final year student work. Recently, though, we've supported a workshop called Cyber Physical Systems because we felt a more collective giving would be more useful. And we also started a competition 2 years ago called Interplay, again with a certain theme on kinetic design.
So why is the focus now on kinetic design?
We felt that kinetic design was undervalued in design education, and therefore, because we had a limited amount of funds, we targeted that topic, and particularly the aesthetics of kinetics, because kinetic design is often very functional, but adding the kinetic aesthetic angle of making culture and functionality work together was something we wanted to encourage.
What do you support kinetic design at present?
The main area is to support 2 angles. One is a workshop called Cyber Physical Systems, run by IDE and Innovation Design Engineering, which is a joint course with the Royal College of Art and Dyson School of Design Engineering. And we feel this is very useful because it's a module that integrates technologies and AI, and with our interest in cultural movement, we felt we could nudge it to take on that subject, and they responded very well, which we are pleased about. The second angle is a competition that's been running for 2 years called Interplay 23 and Interplay 24. That again is on kinetic design with an aesthetic angle.
What was it about the Cyber Physical System workshop that made it special?
I think firstly, the students on the course come from all different backgrounds: engineering, design, architecture, and so that interdisciplinary, transdisciplinary perspective is something we like to see. Also, the technology and the learning outcomes, where they have to deal with interactive devices, we know computers and sensors, is one of the most advanced modules I can think of. Yes. So that's special in that we are dealing with very high caliber students with advanced technologies, so where better to start than with those 2 ingredients.
Could you please summarize the aim of the Interplay competition?
The Interplay competition is focused on kinetic design, and particularly on the kinetic aesthetic angle of making culture and functionality work together. And we want to encourage that because we feel design education undervalues the kinetic angle that we think is important for students to understand. For example, if you ask a product designer, have they any knowledge of choreography? The answer will be no. I'm pretty certain most of the time. But just movement that is pleasant. If something is going to move, it should move elegantly and gracefully. Therefore, we want to encourage that.
the top interplay awards been about?
The entries were very different. They ranged from a pedestrian crossing design that challenged functionality and utility. There was an exhibit that was to do with an AI, where there's almost a jazz performance between people and an AI instrument. So they were very broad, including architecture, and there were balloons that generated energy. These are all on the on YouTube. Interplay 24 was more focused on product design and tabletop concepts that had a lighting feature. So we really brought it down to earth with a smaller object. And we got many different designs that were either sculptural, some were very technological with AI and robotic kind of mechanisms, but there are also ones that focused on more simple concepts, perhaps more practical than the technological ones. So the range was huge over the 2 years. Last year's had a light element. The next year will have a sound element in the competition. So things will make some kind of sonic design towards more delightful environments. And we look forward to that.
Yeah, very exciting. What was the idea behind the top award for Interplay 23, Urban Elegance?
Urban Elegance was really a very challenging project conceptually, in that it was a pedestrian crossing design that drew from inspiration from sculpture and planetarium kind of devices. It really was an artistic statement, making a strong case for more culture with utility. Functional devices can also be enjoyable and entertaining. Obviously, one has to bear in mind the safety angle. In the future, there will be autonomous vehicles, and you'll be just controlling the people crossing, saying yes or no, because the vehicles will stop automatically. So the concept looked way ahead at where design might go in the future, when vehicles are running themselves and they don't have to be stopped by drivers. So it had futuristic potential. And the full-scale prototype worked very well. Could be tested out in a different environment. Could be used in, say, a park with cycleways rather than on a busy road. It was a very beautiful object.
Why did the planetary projector come as the top award for Interplay 24?
That's a good question. There were so many good entries from very sophisticated AI kind of devices through to very simple devices. The judges were really looking for movement as a main criterion, and something that might end up in an everyday product, either a sculpture or something that was very useful. The planetary projector ticked all the boxes. It wasn't too technical, it had movement, and it was also an ambient light at the same time. The simplicity was the key feature, I think, and it had potential to be developed further, and that's what we've seen in the finale, where little problems were ironed out, and it can be presented to somebody who might take it up and manufacture it eventually or license it, and that was one of the ones that we felt could go further than the others.
What are future plans for the Design Education Trust?
The future plans are in progress. We will be supporting the Cyber Physical Systems workshop again, and we'll be adding a criterion of sound as well as light, and the students don't have to pick that up if they don't want to, because the course has its own priorities. We'll be doing another interplay 25, and the sound element will be there in that competition. So we expect the kinetic side to have both movement, sound and light in that competition. and if the students of the workshop wish to enter it or privately or use their projects on the workshop, they can do. So that's going to be an exciting element.